Hello, my dear friends. Today, I want to tell you my story. This is the story of how I started learning English and why it became one of the most important parts of my life. My name is Robert, and just like many of you, I was once a complete beginner in English. I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to write. I couldn't even understand simple English sentences. But deep in my heart, I had a dream. I had a big dream. I wanted to learn English and speak it with confidence. When I was young, I used to see people speaking English on TV. I saw people from different countries talking to each other in English. I didn't understand what they were saying, but it sounded beautiful to me. It was like a secret language, and I wanted to understand that secret. I said to myself, one day I will speak English too. That dream stayed in my heart for many years. There were many reasons why I wanted to learn English. First, I knew that English is an international language. People all around the world use English to communicate. If I knew English, I could talk to people from different countries. I could make new friends from places I had never been. I could learn about their cultures and tell them about mine. This idea made me very excited. Second, I wanted to travel. I had dreams of visiting beautiful countries like England, the United States, Canada, and Australia. I wanted to see the world with my own eyes, but I knew that if I wanted to travel, I had to speak English. English is used in airports, hotels, restaurants, and everywhere in the world. Without English, it would be difficult to travel. That's why I told myself, you must learn English if you want to see the world. Third, and most importantly, I wanted to build a better future for myself. I wanted to get a good job. I wanted to study more and understand books, websites, and videos that were in English. Many of the best books in the world are written in English. Many great teachers teach in English. If I knew English, I could learn so many things. I could grow as a person, get more knowledge, and help other people too. But there was one big problem. I lived in a place where people didn't speak English. Everyone around me spoke my local language. I had no one to practice English with. No one around me was speaking it. It felt difficult. It felt like I was alone on this journey. But even when it was hard, I didn't give up. I held on to my dream. I believed that one day I would speak English, no matter what. I remember walking in the street, dreaming about myself speaking English fluently. I used to look at the sky and imagine myself talking to people from other countries. I imagined myself teaching English to others. I imagined myself standing in a classroom or in front of a camera, helping other students learn English just like me. That dream gave me strength. It gave me hope. It gave me energy to keep going, even on the days when I felt tired and lost. So, my friends, that was the beginning of my English journey. I started with a dream, a small dream in a young heart, and that dream became the first step in a long journey. I didn't know everything. I didn't have many resources, but I had one powerful thing, the desire to learn. And that desire was stronger than any difficulty I faced. In the next parts of my story, I will tell you how I started learning English step by step. I will tell you the methods I used, the mistakes I made, and the lessons I learned. I hope my story helps you, motivates you, and gives you the courage to follow your own English dream. Because if I can learn English, you can learn it too. Let's begin this journey together. After I started learning simple words and using them in my daily life, I felt a little bit more confident. But I knew that learning only words was not enough. I wanted to understand real English. I wanted to understand how people speak English in real life. I wanted to listen and understand English conversations, English stories, and English songs. So, I decided to do one very important thing. I started listening to English every single day. At first, it was not easy. In fact, it was very hard. I found some English podcasts and videos on YouTube. I played them on my phone or computer. I sat quietly and listened. The people were speaking fast. They used words I didn't know. Their pronunciation was different from mine. I felt confused. I could only understand one or two words. Sometimes I didn't understand anything at all. But I told myself, don't stop. Just keep listening. Every morning after I woke up, I listened to something in English. Sometimes it was a short story. Sometimes it was a podcast for beginners. Sometimes it was just English songs. I didn't care if I didn't understand everything. I just listened. I listened while I was brushing my teeth. I listened while eating breakfast. I listened when I was walking on the street. I even listened before sleeping at night. I made English listening a part of my daily life. In the beginning, I chose simple listening materials. I didn't try to listen to native-level conversations. That was too difficult for me. I searched for podcasts made for beginner English learners. I searched for slow English videos. I found simple stories with clear pronunciation. One of my favorite things was listening to stories for children. They were slow, clear, and easy to follow. I listened to the same story again and again, many times. At first, I understood only 10%, then 20%. After a few days, I could understand almost the whole story. I remember one day I listened to a story called The Little Red Hen. The first time I listened, I didn't know what the hen was doing. But I kept listening. I wrote down new words. I listened again. After 1 week, I could tell the whole story in my own words. That made me feel happy. That made me believe that listening really works. I also loved listening to English songs. I picked slow and soft songs with simple lyrics. I listened carefully, and I tried to write down the lyrics. Sometimes I didn't understand the meaning, so I searched for it. Music helped me enjoy English. It didn't feel like study. It felt fun. I was learning and relaxing at the same time. Later, I started using subtitles. When I watched English videos or movies, I used English subtitles. This helped me a lot. I listened and read at the same time. I saw the words on the screen and heard how they were pronounced. I learned the natural rhythm and tone of English. I repeated the sentences after the speaker. I paused the video and said the sentence out loud. This practice helped me improve my listening and speaking together. There were days when I felt tired. There were times when I thought, I will never understand English like native speakers. But then I remembered my dream. I remembered why I started. I said to myself, keep going. Just listen every day. One day, you will understand. And slowly, things changed. After some weeks, I began to hear more words clearly. I started to recognize common phrases. I could hear when people said, "How are you?" or "What do you think?" or "I don't know." I started understanding the feeling in their voice when they were happy, sad, excited, or surprised. It was like magic. I didn't study grammar or vocabulary during this time. I just listened, and my brain learned naturally. Listening every day helped me understand not only words, but also how people speak. It helped me understand pronunciation, stress, and intonation. I realized that spoken English is different from written English. People speak in short sentences. They use contractions like I'm instead of I am. They say gonna instead of going to. I learned these things just by listening. Now I tell all my students and friends, if you want to understand English, you must listen to it every day. Even if you don't understand now, it's okay. Just keep listening. Your brain is learning even when you don't realize it. One day, you will understand more. One day, English will sound normal to your ears. But you must be patient and never give up. For me, listening was the key to opening the door of understanding. It was the second step in my journey. It made me feel closer to the English language. It made me believe in myself, and it made me ready for the next step, speaking. So, my friends, if you are listening to this story now, you are already doing something great. Keep listening. Listen every day. Listen when you are happy. Listen when you are tired. Listen when you don't understand. Because every minute you listen is one step closer to your English dream. My dear friends, after I listened to English every day for many weeks, I began to understand more and more. I could catch common words and phrases. I felt happy because I could understand simple stories and conversations. But there was still one big problem. I could not speak English confidently. Speaking English was the most difficult part for me. I had many fears in my heart. I was afraid of making mistakes. I was afraid of saying the wrong word. I was afraid that people would laugh at my pronunciation. I was afraid that others would judge me. My mind was full of fear and doubt. Every time I tried to speak, I became nervous. My heart started beating fast. My mouth became dry. I wanted to speak, but no words came out. I knew that speaking was important. If I wanted to become fluent in English, I had to speak. I couldn't just listen and read. I had to open my mouth and talk. But the big question was, how could I practice speaking when no one around me spoke English? I didn't have any English-speaking friends. I didn't live in an English-speaking country. So, what could I do? I found the answer slowly. I told myself, if you have no one to speak with, speak to yourself. Yes, it sounds strange, but this idea changed my life. I started practicing English alone. The first thing I did was speak in front of the mirror. Every morning and every night, I stood in front of my mirror and talked to myself in English. I pretended I was speaking to a friend or a teacher. I looked into my eyes and said simple things like, "Hello, how are you today?" Or, "Today I went to the market." At first I felt shy and silly. I laughed at myself, but slowly I got used to it. I became more confident. I practiced every day, even if I only spoke for 5 minutes. My mirror became my first speaking partner. Then, I started using my phone. I opened the voice recorder app and started recording my voice. I spoke about my day. I said things like, "Today is Monday. I am feeling good." I studied English for 1 hour. After recording, I listened to my voice. At first, I didn't like it. I thought my voice sounded strange. I thought my pronunciation was bad. But I didn't stop. I kept recording and listening. Day by day, I improved. I could hear my mistakes and correct them. I also saw how much I was improving. My voice became clearer. My sentences became longer. My confidence became stronger. I also started doing repetition practice. I watched English videos with subtitles. I paused the video and repeated each sentence after the speaker. I copied their pronunciation, their tone, and their style. I said the sentence again and again, until it sounded natural. Sometimes I repeated one sentence 10 times. This technique helped me learn how real English sounds. It also helped me speak smoothly and naturally. Later, I started describing everything around me in English. When I woke up, I said, "I am waking up. I am brushing my teeth. I am drinking tea." When I walked on the street, I looked at people and things and said in my mind, "This is a tree. That is a man. The boy is running." I tried to keep my brain thinking in English. I made English a part of my daily life. Sometimes I even acted like I was giving a speech. I stood like a speaker and talked about simple topics like my family, my favorite food, or my hobby. I practiced body language, hand movements, and eye contact. Even though no one was watching, I imagined a big audience in front of me. This made me feel brave. I also used English-speaking apps to practice with my phone. Some apps let you talk to an AI or answer simple speaking questions. I used them to test myself. I didn't worry about mistakes. I focused on practice. Yes, I still made many mistakes. I still forgot words. I still felt nervous sometimes, but I told myself, it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. I reminded myself that even babies make mistakes when they learn their first language. So why should I be afraid? Over time, I started feeling more comfortable. I started enjoying speaking. I began to speak louder. I spoke with more emotion. I no longer felt shy or scared. I felt proud. I felt free. Speaking became a fun game for me. Now, when I look back, I see that the most important thing was not perfection. It was practice. I didn't need a teacher. I didn't need native speakers. I only needed my mirror, my phone, and my voice. That was enough to begin. So, my dear students, I want to tell you from my heart, don't be afraid to speak. Speak alone if you must. Speak with your heart. Speak every day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be brave. Your voice is your power. Use it. Trust it. Train it. Speak with love, with joy, and with courage. If I could speak English without any speaking partner, so can you. You are not alone. I was just like you. I was afraid. I was quiet. But I tried. And I kept trying. Speaking English was difficult, but I never gave up. And now, I speak with confidence. I believe in myself. And I believe in you too. Let's keep going. Your English dream is waiting for you. Dear students, after I started listening and speaking English every day, I felt a big change inside me. My ears became used to English sounds, and my mouth started to speak simple sentences. But something was still missing. I knew many words, but I didn't understand how to use them well. I wanted to build strong English sentences. I wanted to learn new vocabulary. I wanted to see how English worked in real life. That's when I started reading English every day. And reading, my friends, reading made me better. At first, I was afraid to read in English. The words looked difficult. Some sentences were long. I thought, maybe reading is not for me. But then I found something wonderful. Children's books. Yes, I started reading books made for small children. They were simple. The words were easy. The pictures helped me understand the meaning. And slowly, I realized that children's books were perfect for me. I could read one page and understand most of it. I could finish a full book and feel proud of myself. One of the first books I read was about a little dog named Max. Max wanted to find his ball. He looked under the table. He looked behind the door. The sentences were very simple. Max is a dog. Max lost his ball. Max is looking. But those short sentences taught me a lot. I learned basic sentence structure. I learned how to use the verb to be. I learned new words like under, behind, and lost. I smiled as I read. I felt happy and successful. That happiness made me want to read more. After that, I found many more easy books. Some were about animals. Some were about families. Some were about daily life. I also searched online for English stories for beginners. There are many websites that give free English stories. These stories are short and simple. Some of them also have audio, so I could read and listen at the same time. Every day I made reading a part of my routine. I read in the morning, I read before bed. Sometimes I read for just 10 minutes. Sometimes I read for an hour. I didn't rush. I didn't try to read big, difficult novels. I stayed with simple stories, and slowly my English improved. I began to notice patterns. I saw how sentences were made. I learned how verbs changed with different subjects. I understood how questions were formed. I saw how native speakers used words naturally. Reading also helped me learn new words. Every time I saw a new word, I tried to guess the meaning from the sentence. Sometimes I looked it up in the dictionary, but most of the time, I didn't stop reading. I just continued. If the same word came again and again, I started to remember it. And then one day, I started using that word in my own speaking and writing. Reading gave me the words I needed to express myself. One of my favorite things was to read out loud. When I read out loud, I practiced my pronunciation. I spoke with rhythm. I learned how sentences flowed. I tried to sound natural. I became both the reader and the speaker. It helped me with speaking and reading at the same time. I also kept a small English notebook. When I read something interesting, I wrote it down. I wrote new words, useful sentences, and phrases that I liked. Sometimes I drew little pictures to remember the meaning. This notebook became my little English treasure. When I felt bored or tired, I opened my notebook and read my favorite lines again. Reading gave me confidence. When I finished a book, I felt proud. I said to myself, "Wow, I read this book in English." That feeling made me stronger. It gave me hope. It showed me that English was not impossible. Later, when I became more confident, I moved to level 2 stories. These were still for beginners, but they had longer sentences and a few new grammar points. I didn't understand everything, but I didn't stop. I kept reading. If one story was hard, I read another one. If one word was difficult, I skipped it. I didn't let small problems stop me. I remembered, reading is a journey, and every page makes you stronger. Reading also helped me understand different cultures. I read about people from other countries, their food, their festivals, their daily life. I learned about the world through English. I saw how language connects us. I felt part of something bigger. Now, I want to tell you something from my heart. If you want to improve your English, read every day. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Don't worry if the words are new. Just keep reading. Start with simple books. Start with children's stories. Read short paragraphs. Repeat your favorite stories. Read what you enjoy. Reading will open your mind. Reading will give you power. Reading will make your English better and better. You don't need big books. You don't need fancy grammar books. You only need the will to start. If I can improve my English through reading, you can too. Make reading your friend. Let it guide you. Let it teach you. Let it change you. Reading made me better, and it can make you better too. Dear students, after I started reading English stories every day, I began to understand the language more clearly. I saw how words were used in real life. I learned how sentences were made. But something inside me said, now it's time to use English on your own. It's time to make your own sentences. It's time to write. So, I made a simple promise to myself. I will write in English every day. Just one page, nothing big, just a small page in a notebook. But that small habit changed everything. Writing helped me think in English. Writing helped me grow. In the beginning, it was not easy. I sat with my notebook and pen, but my mind was blank. I didn't know what to write. I thought, what should I say? My English is not good. But then I said to myself, just write something. Anything. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not writing for the world. You're writing for yourself. So I started small. The first thing I ever wrote was about my day. It was simple. I wrote, today I woke up at 6 a.m. I ate breakfast. I went to class. I came home. I watched a movie. I feel tired now. That's it. Just 4 to 5 lines. But those 4 to 5 lines made me feel so proud. I had just written my first English paragraph. That night, I went to bed with a big smile. The next day, I wrote again. This time I added a few more sentences. I wrote about my feelings. I felt happy today because my teacher said I did a good job. I studied English in the evening. I learned 5 new words. Slowly, I started enjoying writing. It became my favorite time of the day. Every night before sleeping, I opened my notebook and wrote about my day. I wrote what I did, how I felt, and what I learned. Some days were normal. I wrote things like, today was boring. I didn't do much. I stayed home. It rained all day. But even writing these simple things helped me. I practiced sentence structure. I practiced grammar. I practiced using verbs like stay, do, and rain. Every word was helping me grow. And guess what? I didn't use any big grammar books. I didn't check every word in the dictionary. I just wrote from my heart. I made mistakes, but that's okay. Mistakes are part of learning. I didn't stop myself. I didn't feel shy. My notebook became my safe place. No one judged me. No one laughed. It was just me and my words. After a few weeks, I started to see improvement. My sentences became longer. I used new words. I tried new tenses. I wrote not only about my day, but also about my dreams, my goals, my plans. I wrote things like, one day I want to visit London. I want to speak to people in English. I want to feel confident. These small dreams became sentences, and these sentences became part of my daily writing. Sometimes, I didn't know how to say something, so I looked it up. I learned new vocabulary because I wanted to express myself better. Writing pushed me to learn more. It made me curious. I asked myself, how do I say this in English? How do I describe my feeling? And slowly, I began to find answers. One thing that helped me a lot was writing the same thing in different ways. For example, instead of always writing, I am happy, I tried new ways. I feel great today. Or I had a good time. Or this day made me smile. I played with words. I became more creative. I used what I heard in songs and read in stories. Writing helped me remember and use all the English I was learning. And let me tell you something. When you write every day, your confidence grows. You start to believe in yourself. You see your own progress. You feel stronger. That's what happened to me. My notebook became my English mirror. I could look back and see how far I had come. In the first week, I wrote very simple sentences, but after 1 month, I was writing full pages. After 3 months, I could write about anything, my past, my future, my ideas. I also started using new tools. I downloaded simple writing apps. Sometimes I typed on my phone, but my favorite was still my little notebook. It felt personal. It was mine. Every page was a part of my English journey. If you ask me today, what helped you most in learning English? I will say writing every day. Because when you write, you think. When you write, you use your own English. It's not someone else's words. It's your words, your life, your experience. So, my dear students, I want to give you one simple tip. Start writing today. Don't wait. Don't say, my English is not good. Just begin. Take a notebook. Write one page every night. Write about your day. Write about your feelings. Write about what you learned. Make it a habit. Don't worry about mistakes. Just write. One page a day can change your English. One small paragraph can build your confidence. One notebook can show you the power of progress. I wrote every day, and that made me better.